Welcome to Tiny NH House. I'm back at the cabin for 4.5 days this week, and the goal for this week is to get the kitchen cabinets screwed in, get the countertop on, and drill and cut the hole for the sink and install the sink. I also brought up my lawnmower with me this week so I can cut my weeds. It's raining today, so we'll wait till everything dries out before I do that. So I have to attach the cabinets together with number 8 2.5-inch screws. So I gotta drill a hole just around where the hinge is on the door and into the next cabinet. These cabinets are hickory. Hickory is a hard wood to drill through. So now put some soap on the threads here and put the screws in. So this is what they call a blind corner cabinet, and as its name implies, it goes in the corner over there. The nice thing about it is you can adjust it between 4 to 6 inches further out from the wall. So depending on what's going to be on the other side, you can make those adjustments, and you can set it so the door opening, like this one, doesn't hit the cabinet over there. So you can adjust it in and out that way. But manufacturer in the blind section leaves it open, an open space. So I don't know if that's just them being cheap or whether there's a reason for that for installation, but I don't need that open for my installation. So I'm going to get a piece of plywood and screw it in there so that my pots and pans don't fall out into the space between that and the next cabinet. Although that space is really small. It's 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So this is probably just overkill. So let me find a piece of scrap plywood I can put over that. Not the prettiest looking thing, but it'll do the job. And no one knows it's there except for me. So put this back into the corner. Just fits. So now I got to make sure I get the right distance coming out. So first of all, I'll move the stove back a couple inches. And I want to get an 18-inch cabinet in here. So that is is 19 inches, which will give me a little extra on the other side. The other side of the stove is going to be the trap door down to the cellar. Or at least it's framed. I don't know when I'll ever build it, but alright, so that opens, that's clear. That opens, that's clear. So I think we're good. I added some of these 3-inch number 10 screws to the back of the cabinet, one on each side, and then one over here. You can't really see it. It's right there. And those are screwed into the studs. So they're loose right now, just to keep things from moving around, which I doubt they're going to move. Especially with the 86-pound counter on top. So once I get the counter up there and the sink installed, I'll tighten those up and secure in place. These aren't going anywhere. The wall cabinets will go up on either side. They'll use the same 3-inch long number 10 screws to secure them in place. Those are the more important ones. Those are the ones that are going to want to fall. I think it's sliding on these Rubbermaid buckets that I use to seal it. It's working pretty well. I don't want to scratch the counter, that's the thing. I don't know if it's just in my head, but this end of the counter seems heavier than the other. I don't know. Alright, I put the far end on a piece of foam in case that drags along the floor. And the other end is almost in position. I'll lift that up, get that in place, and then try and move the rest of it. Wish me luck. Alright, we did it. The long one's in place. Now I can lay out my measurements for the sink. Put some painter's tape down, make the marks on, and then cut out the sink. Now here's a different view, a little bit closer. This looks good. I put down masking tape on the area that I need to cut out, and I transferred the measurements of where the sink should be. The outside line is where the rim of the sink will lie, the outside rim. The inside line is 3/8 in. That's where I have to do my cut for the hole all the way around. So I'm going to use a hole saw for the corners first so I can radius them. And then I'll use a circular saw for the rest of the cut. And I probably will be moving this counter back and forth so I can reach in there and back near the wall. I got all 4 corners drilled out with the hole saw. Stayed inside the lines. So now it's time to get the circular saw out and make my straight cuts. Well, I got the cuts made in the front and the back with the circular saw. Took me most of the afternoon. The saw blade was smoking at a few points. Actually, the over temperature switch on the saw went off and I had to wait for it to cool down. And I went through 2 large batteries, rechargeable batteries, doing this. But at least it's halfway done. And the next step is I'm going to take a 2x4 and put it down the middle here and screw it to the part that I'm cutting out, so that when I do the last cut, it's supported by the 2x4 and nothing breaks off. So I have to screw that on now, and then we'll do the side cuts. That piece is heavy too. Just that small piece. So I think I'd need to trim it about 1/8 of an inch because it's a little bit high here. These rails, let's see them here. These rails here have to clear, and I think it's hanging up on this rail. But otherwise, side to side, fits good, snug. Just a little bit more, and I'll probably take it off the back. So we got the sink in. Took a little bit of trimming front and back, but we got there. So fits good, looks good. Just have to put another seal coat or two down on the counter, and then put some plumber's putty around the bottom of the sink and cinch it down tight, and then hook up the piping underneath. So down there is the bottom section of the L. I've got counter for that, but I need to wait till I get that 18-inch wide cabinet to put in there, and then I'll cut the counter to fit and install that. So, good day. I made this jig to help me install the cabinets on the wall. It's the exact height of the bottom of the cabinet, and the idea is I lift the cabinet up onto this jig, and the jig will support the cabinet's weight until I can get some screws in to the stud behind the wall. I even have food in the cupboard. Well, that's going to do it for this trip. Got a lot accomplished. Got the counter in place. Got the hole cut out for the sink. Got the sink installed. Got both wall cabinets up by myself. So I'm feeling good about this trip. Today I cut the grass, or cut the weeds outside. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And until next time, be safe out there.